Well, let me start with just one of the many posts that went up on social media while all of this was going on last night. This post from a mum whose daughter Elsie was one of those 3 girls killed in a knife attack here earlier this week. In her post, she said, "This is the only thing that I will write, but please, please stop the violence in Southport tonight. The police have been nothing short of heroic," she said, "these last 24 hours, and they and we do not need this." And yet it carried on for hours. And you do get the sense of a real nervousness from Merseyside police, that there is still anger, there is still tension, and what could come over the coming days. They say that they are prepared for that. In terms of the investigation into the knife attack here, a 17-year-old boy is still in custody. Police were granted an extension, and police say there may well be more arrests over the disorder last night over the coming hours. Southport's darkest day was followed by Southport's darkest night. A night when a protest, as it was billed online, outside a mosque, almost instantly became this. And as it went on, they weren't just using bricks and slabs of wall, but petrol bombs and burning wheelie bins.
This was on fire.
June lives next door to the mosque. As outside there was carnage, she was inside in fear.
I couldn't sleep. I was just in shock. And then the flames and then the thick smoke was everywhere. I thought this is bad.
This kind of mass violence, anywhere, at any time, will always bring condemnation and warnings of consequences. That it happened a few streets from where 3 children were killed in a knife attack on Monday brought disbelief and dismay too.
Yesterday was about remembering 3 little girls who've lost their lives. It was not about the violence that we saw last night. Policing will take a firm stance. We've seen a message already from the mum of one of the little girls. She should be thinking about her little girl at this moment in time, and yet she's had to give a statement saying this is not what she wants.
Chief Constable, you had intelligence and information online suggesting there was going to be something happening last night. But were you actually taken surprised by the numbers and just the level of attack that your officers came under?
I think we were sufficiently resourced for the numbers. I think it was the level of violence. I was watching it live from footage coming in. I was absolutely appalled by the level of violence directed at my officers.
More than 50 police officers were injured, we were told today. Some seriously, including broken bones. Police said 3 of their dogs were also hurt, with bricks being thrown at them. Scenes so at odds with the vigil in the centre of Southport last night, where the mayor had this message.
And if I can ask for calm and respect at this time, thank you very much.
The blue lights and sirens were a clue that it wasn't calm everywhere, though. A few minutes away, on the street outside Southport Mosque, what started with 70 or so people quickly became hundreds. People living here were watching from their windows and gardens. Others came to be part of a protest, but not this. Some, though, seemed intent on doing as much damage as possible. It's 10:30, and this has been going on for hours now, and there's no let up. It's relentless. That was a police van burnt out. Up on the street that way, there's another police van on fire, and then down that way, I can see flames rising up too, with a line-up of police with their riot shields out, and things just constantly being thrown at them.
Anger is one thing, but ordinary people around here, the mums and dads, the parents and grandparents, didn't come out on the streets and throw bricks at the police. What we saw last night was infiltration by people from all over the country, stirred up by social media, and then whipped up into a frenzy.
You mentioned the whipping up that was done online. Does something need to be changed? Does the law need to be changed to try and stop that happening?
It certainly needs to be looked at. The fact is that it's too easy, isn't it, for people with nefarious intent to go online and to say things that aren't factual, and then for people to believe those things.
These three girls, Alice, Bibi and Elsie, who on Monday went to a dance class, and the other children so badly hurt, and the adults who tried to protect them. To many, they must be the focus. And what happened last night was a violent and shameful distraction.
Claire Fallon reporting. Local people in Southport were quick to rally round to clear up the debris from last night's unrest, which left the street looking like a war zone. Dozens turned up armed with shovels and brooms to help repair damage to the mosque that was targeted and show their support for the Muslim community. Andrew Misra reports.
Wherever the rioters came from, their impact is felt here, at the mosque, on the streets, on the doorstep. Behind those doors, people left terrified in their own homes.
It was absolutely barbaric and disgusting. My daughter was absolutely terrified in her bedroom, physically shaking, screaming, "I don't want to be here, I'm frightened." So I put a hoodie on, pulled it over her eyes, got my fella to pick her up and march her up the road through the crowd. I said, "Just don't look, don't look."
Charlie had been at the vigil just hours before with her 9-year-old daughter, who regularly went to the same class as one of the girls killed in Monday's stabbing.
She knows Elsie, so we got to deal with that. Took her to the vigil, she was quite emotional, and come home to all this on our street.
They've set fire to a police van.
Like other locals, Charlie could only watch on and film this from her bedroom window. The target of the riot yesterday was the mosque. Today it's been the centre of the clean-up operation. With the help of so many, the rubble was cleared quickly. For the Muslim community here, though, the psychological scars could last much longer.
Can I quickly just ask how scared the community feels at the moment, the Muslim community?
Naturally, they will be scared, naturally. They will be scared and not feeling very safe, but I hope with the help of the community, we will be all right.
The fact that the mosque was clearly targeted, as a Muslim living here, how does that make you feel?
It just makes me angry. Yesterday when I was standing by the Atkinson trying to listen, I could see some men in their 40s. I think they thought they are still teenagers. They were texting, trying to arrange something. And one of them even came up to me, they said to me, "Hang around if you want to see some action." I was thinking, you poor person, you know, you are being used.
A town already weighed down by grief, now also burdened with the damage from last night's chaos. The mini-market nearby was broken into and stripped of cigarettes and alcohol by crowds. The building owner feared for the safety of the Sri Lankan shopkeeper.
You know, I want to protect my tenant's business. I'm just very grateful there's been no loss of life and nobody's been hurt, because he could have been killed, he could have been battered or anything. It's these stupid people have taken the focus away from those poor parents who are suffering, who have lost children and have had children injured, and the forces who have been injured as well. All that is now been swept away by these stupid people rioting.
Locals have offered to help to shore up the shop, giving a sense of the community spirit that's already seen a wall outside the mosque rebuilt. A town has come together this week, not once, but twice. Now, they're hoping and praying for no more attempts to tear it apart.
Well, we've been here since before 9 o'clock this morning, and people have been around helping out pretty much all day. The police are still here. The road's still closed, and you saw in Claire's piece the Chief Constable visit earlier, and the police are working to ensure there is no repeat of last night. But there is this sense of unease here, understandably, given the horrors of this week, but it's not been helped by some of the rumours flying around, which, as I say, has created a level of unease. Several times today, people have said to me that they've heard of a planned protest or potential for trouble, and that's leading to some anxiety. The shopkeeper you saw in our report there said she's not sure she will fix the damage to her shop immediately because of fear of more disorder. Earlier, the local council, Sefton Council, felt the need to put out a statement clarifying that there were no issues in the town centre after some suggestions online that people should avoid the area. Currently, there are no problems here, and everybody that we've spoken to here today very much hopes that it stays that way.